MobLand opens in the shadows of London's criminal landscape, where two powerful gangs, the Dogan and the Lazarus, have long been at war. At the center of this storm is Harry D'Souza, a mediator with a sharp mind and nerves of steel, played by Tom Hardy. Harry's job isn't glamorous, it's deadly. The first episode throws us into a tense negotiation between the leaders of these rival gangs, Costa from the Dogan and Mimt of the Lazarus. Harry's mission is to broker peace, to get them to bury the hatchet. It's a fragile truce, one that feels like a powder keg ready to explode at the slightest spark. Harry consults with his boss, Conrad Harrion, a cold, calculating kingpin portrayed with chilling precision by Pierce Brosnan. Conrad isn't interested in peace for peace's sake. He's playing a longer, more dangerous game. He reveals that both Costa and Mimt have been scamming him, manipulating the fragile balance of power for their own benefit. For Conrad, the best solution is clear: eliminate both gang leaders to seize control. This ruthless decision sets off the chain of violence and chaos that drives the entire season. While Harry and his crew carry out this deadly plan, Conrad prepares to fill the void left behind. He orders Harry to inform the Maltese gang that they will be taking over the territories abandoned by the Dogan and the Lazarus. This move is bold and reckless, guaranteed to trigger repercussions. But the story doesn't linger there. Instead, it shifts focus to a new and unpredictable element: the youth caught in the crossfire. Enter Eddie Harrion, Conrad's grandson, and Tommy Stevenson, the son of Conrad's rival, Richie Stevenson. Despite their father's bitter feud, Eddie and Tommy share an unlikely friendship, a fragile connection that offers a rare glimpse of humanity in a violent world. However, their loyalty is tested quickly and painfully. The most explosive moment early in the season, which viewers often refer to as the Eddie Stabs a Guy episode, marks a turning point. Eddie, out with Tommy and his friends at a nightclub, loses control. When a stranger threatens him, Eddie pulls a knife and stabs the man. Panic ensues. Tommy, overwhelmed by the chaotic scene and the danger they've landed in, tries to escape, but Eddie pulls him back, only to cause more trouble. This stabbing isn't just a reckless act of violence, it triggers a cascade of events that bring the entire criminal network to the brink of war. Harry immediately jumps into damage control, working behind the scenes to erase every trace linking Eddie to the stabbing. From intimidating witnesses to destroying CCTV footage, Harry's efforts reveal a complex underworld where power is maintained not just by brute force, but through manipulation and control of information. Meanwhile, Richie Stevenson, furious and desperate to find his missing son Tommy, unleashes his own fury. He sends his trusted man, Charlie, a dangerous and relentless figure, to track down Tommy. When Richie discovers Tommy's night out wasn't just a simple party, but involved Eddie, the grandson of his enemy, his rage boils over. He calls Kevin Harrion, Eddie's father and Conrad's son, threatening war if Tommy is harmed. Kevin, caught between loyalty to his family and the harsh realities of their world, pushes Harry harder to fix the situation. This tangled web of family, loyalty, and rivalry paints the core of MobLand's narrative. At the same time, we see Jan, Harry's wife, struggling with their fractured relationship. Therapy sessions and tense arguments highlight the personal toll this violent lifestyle takes, adding emotional depth to the story. The season also introduces Archie, Conrad's oldest friend and family lawyer, whose loyalties become questionable. A meeting at the Harrion estate reveals cracks in their alliance, especially when discussion of the fentanyl drug trade sparks tension. Archie warns Conrad to stay out of the fentanyl business, which belongs to Richie Stevenson. Conrad's reaction, cold, brutal, and ultimately deadly, shows the ruthless lengths he'll go to maintain power. By the end of this first section, MobLand sets the stage for a brutal power struggle. Every alliance is fragile, every friendship complicated by blood ties and ambition. With the death of two gang leaders, the rise of a new power, and a violent incident involving the younger generation, the season promises a tense, suspense-filled journey through London's darkest streets. The brutal killing of Costa and Mimt throws the entire criminal ecosystem into chaos. Conrad Harrien's cold strategy to remove both gang leaders was a calculated move, but it doesn't come without consequences. With the Dogan and Lazarus gangs leaderless, a dangerous power vacuum forms. Conrad's plan is to install his own men and expand the Harrian family's influence across London. But ambition in the underworld is a double-edged sword, and soon it becomes clear that nobody will bow down without a fight. Harry de Souza, once a trusted mediator, now walks a razor-thin line. His role is no longer just about keeping peace, it's about enforcing the new order. But his loyalties are tested again and again. While Conrad wants control, Harry understands the fragility of their hold on the streets. As he tries to negotiate with various gang members, cracks start to show. Some factions refuse to accept the Harrian takeover, and violent skirmishes erupt in different neighborhoods. One of the most dangerous threats comes from inside Conrad's own family. Kevin Harrian, his son, feels the weight of his father's ruthless expectations, but struggles with his conscience. Kevin is torn between loyalty to the family legacy and the desire to protect his own son, Eddie, who is becoming more reckless with every passing day. Eddie's stabbing incident has marked him, and his growing recklessness threatens to unravel the fragile peace his grandfather fought to create. Tommy Stevenson, on the other hand, is caught in a nightmare. After escaping the nightclub incident, Tommy finds himself hunted, not only by his own family's men, but also by those who want to use him as leverage in the ongoing gang war. His friendship with Eddie places him at the center of the conflict, making him a pawn in a much larger game. His survival depends on navigating treacherous alliances, where trust is scarce and betrayal is around every corner. As tensions rise, Harry is forced to confront an even darker secret: his own connection to the Harrian family's criminal empire. The more he digs into Conrad's plans, the more he realizes that the drug trade, especially the fentanyl operation, is the true battlefield. This new front is far deadlier than territorial fights. Fentanyl brings in enormous profits, but also attracts the attention of law enforcement and rival criminals worldwide. Conrad's decision to enter the fentanyl market is met with fierce opposition, particularly from Richie Stevenson. Richie is not just a rival. He's a man with decades of experience in London's underworld. His refusal to let the Harrians infiltrate his territory sets the stage for a war unlike anything seen before. Scenes of violent confrontations, betrayals, and high-stakes negotiations play out, leaving everyone on edge. Meanwhile, Harry's personal life collapses. His marriage to Jan becomes a battleground as Jan struggles to accept the dark realities of Harry's work. Therapy sessions reveal cracks in their relationship and show how Harry's double life eats away at his humanity. These emotional moments add depth to Harry's character, making him more than just a gangster. He is a man trying to survive in a brutal world while holding on to what little morality he has left. One of the most shocking moments in this section is the murder of a key informant who tried to expose Conrad's fentanyl dealings. This brutal killing sends a clear message: no one is safe, and betrayal will be punished with death. It raises the stakes for everyone involved and shows how high the price of power really is. Harry's maneuvering becomes increasingly dangerous as he tries to protect Eddie and Tommy from becoming casualties in this war. His attempts to keep peace lead him to make questionable alliances, including temporary deals with old enemies. These uneasy partnerships provide thrilling suspense. Viewers never know who will stab whom in the back next. As the season progresses, the Harrion family's internal conflicts become as fierce as their external battles. Kevin's secret meetings with Richie hint at a possible betrayal, while Conrad's cold and ruthless nature alienates even his closest allies. Archie, the family lawyer, becomes a wild card. His true intentions remain unclear, adding to the suspense. This section ends with a cliffhanger. A major attack on one of Conrad's key operations shakes the foundation of his empire. The violence is swift and brutal, leaving viewers wondering who will survive and who will be next to fall. The battle for London's streets has only just begun, and the stakes are higher than ever. After the shocking attack on Conrad's operation, the city's criminal landscape grows more unstable than ever. The Harrion family's control is shaken, and their enemies sense weakness. London's underworld is like a pressure cooker about to explode. Every character feels the tension. Some try to climb higher, while others fight just to survive. Kevin Harrion's secret meetings with Richie Stevenson become a central mystery. Is Kevin betraying his father, or is he playing a deeper game to protect the family? His actions create tension inside the Harrion clan. Conrad's distrust grows, and the father-son relationship strains under pressure. Kevin tries to hide his doubts, but struggles to keep his loyalty intact as Richie offers tempting promises of power and peace. Richie Stevenson proves to be a clever and ruthless opponent. He is not just fighting to protect his territory, but also to take control of the fentanyl trade. His plan involves forming new alliances with smaller gangs and corrupt officials, which makes him even more dangerous. Richie's brutal tactics show how far he will go to stop the Harrions from expanding. Meanwhile, Eddie Harrion's reckless behavior continues to spiral out of control. His addiction to drugs and impulsive decisions risk everything the family has built. His friendship with Tommy Stevenson is tested as both young men face growing dangers. Tommy, caught between loyalty to his own family and friendship with Eddie, must make difficult choices. Their bond is one of the few bright spots in the dark and violent world they live in. Harry D'Souza's role becomes even more complex. Now fully aware of the fentanyl war's deadly stakes, he tries to act as a peacemaker, but the bloodshed makes peace nearly impossible. Harry works behind the scenes, trying to broker deals and avoid open war, but every move he makes carries the risk of betrayal. His internal conflict grows as he balances his personal morals against the brutal realities of mob life. In one powerful moment, Harry discovers a mole inside the Harrion organization, leaking information to Richie. This betrayal threatens to destroy the Harrion family from within. The search for the traitor leads to tense confrontations and high-stakes interrogations. Trust becomes a scarce and precious commodity, and suspicion poisons every relationship. The show dives deeper into the lives of supporting characters, adding layers to the story. Archie, the family lawyer, reveals more of his true nature. He is cunning and always thinking several steps ahead. His loyalty is ambiguous, and viewers are left guessing if he is a protector or a secret threat. Jan's struggles with Harry's dangerous lifestyle reach a breaking point. Their marriage suffers as secrets pile up and trust breaks down. Emotional scenes show Jan questioning whether she can stay with a man living such a violent double life. This adds emotional weight to the story, making the violence feel even more real and personal. The season also introduces new players in the drug trade. Smaller gangs try to take advantage of the Harry and Stevenson conflict to grab their share of the fentanyl profits. These side stories add complexity and tension, showing that the drug war is not just a family feud, but a city-wide crisis. A particularly tense scene involves a violent showdown between two rival gangs competing for a drug shipment. The fight is brutal, with lives lost and alliances shattered. This event highlights the dangers of the fentanyl market and how it fuels endless violence. It also shows how even the smallest players can have a big impact in the criminal world. Meanwhile, law enforcement tightens its grip. Detectives begin to piece together the connections between the Harrians, the Stevensons, and the fentanyl trade. A new character, a dedicated cop obsessed with cleaning up London's streets, starts to close in on the mob families. His presence increases the pressure, reminding everyone that the law is always watching. The section builds up to another shocking twist. Kevin's secret alliance with Richie is revealed in a tense confrontation with Conrad. The betrayal cuts deep, sparking a violent family showdown that threatens to tear the Harrians apart. This moment is a turning point. Loyalty, power, and family bonds are tested like never before. As the tension explodes, the season's core question becomes clear. Can the Harrian family survive the war they started? Or will their empire crumble under the weight of betrayal, addiction, and ruthless enemies? The battle lines are drawn, and the fight for London's streets becomes more dangerous and personal. Every character faces choices that will define their future, and the stakes have never been higher. The confrontation between Conrad and Kevin shatters the fragile peace the Harrian family once held. Kevin's betrayal feels like a knife in the back, and the fallout is immediate and devastating. Conrad's anger and disappointment are palpable, but beneath that is a man desperate to hold on to his empire and his family. This personal betrayal pushes Conrad into darker, more ruthless decisions. Kevin, now fully aligned with Richie Stevenson, starts playing a dangerous game. He acts as a double agent, feeding Richie information that gives the Stevensons a critical edge. Kevin's motives aren't entirely clear. Sometimes it seems like he wants to protect his father, but other times he appears to be driven by ambition and resentment. His internal struggle adds emotional complexity to the story, making viewers wonder how far he will go. As Kevin's secret alliance strengthens, the Stevensons launch a series of calculated attacks on Harrian interests. The violence escalates quickly. Drug shipments are intercepted, loyal henchmen are targeted, and city streets become battlegrounds. These actions push the Harrians to the edge, forcing Conrad and his trusted allies to fight back with equal ferocity. Eddie Harrian's downward spiral worsens. His addiction and reckless behavior make him vulnerable, and this puts the family's operations at risk. Eddie's personal battles bring a tragic human side to the story. Despite his flaws, viewers see glimpses of a young man who wants to be more than just a pawn in a brutal game. His relationship with Tommy Stevenson becomes even more complicated, caught between friendship and family loyalty. The tension between these two characters is one of the season's emotional anchors. Meanwhile, Harry D'Souza faces mounting pressure. His attempts to mediate between the families become more desperate. Harry knows that the bloodshed can only end one way, either complete destruction or an uneasy truce. His moral struggle deepens as he sees friends and family torn apart. Harry's role as peacemaker feels more like a curse, and viewers are drawn into his battle to keep the violence from consuming him too. The identity of the mole leaking information inside the Harrian family becomes a critical plot point. Suspicion and paranoia grow inside the organization. Conrad orders an internal investigation that leads to tense interrogations and dangerous confrontations. The reveal of the traitor shocks everyone and changes the power dynamic within the family. This moment keeps the audience on the edge of their seats, wondering who can be trusted. The season does not shy away from showing the brutal consequences of the drug war. Innocent lives are lost, and families are destroyed. Scenes of violence are balanced with moments of vulnerability, showing the true cost of this life. The narrative highlights how addiction, loyalty, and betrayal intertwine in tragic ways. In parallel, the law enforcement subplot gains momentum. The dedicated cop investigating the Harrians and Stevensons uncovers key evidence linking both families to the fentanyl trade. His relentless pursuit adds tension as it threatens to bring down both criminal empires. His character serves as a reminder that no one is above the law, and justice might come from unexpected places. The tension between the two mob families reaches a fever pitch. A major operation planned by Conrad to regain control backfires, leading to a deadly ambush. The attack results in casualties and forces both sides to reconsider their strategies. The stakes are higher than ever, and every decision could lead to ruin. In a powerful scene, the emotional toll of the war is clear. Families mourn their losses, and characters question their own survival. Loyalty is tested, and alliances shift as survival instincts take over. The season explores how violence changes people. Some become harder, while others crack under pressure. Kevin's role becomes even more pivotal. His divided loyalties put him at the center of a storm. His choices in this section define the future of the Harrian family and the entire city's criminal landscape. The emotional weight of his actions gives the story depth and keeps viewers emotionally invested. The section ends on a cliffhanger. Just when it seems the war might reach a bloody conclusion, an unexpected event changes everything. A new player emerges, someone powerful and unpredictable, threatening to disrupt the fragile balance between the Harrians and Stevensons. This twist sets the stage for the explosive final episodes. As the new player steps onto the scene, everything the Harrian and Stevenson families thought they knew about power and control is turned upside down. This mysterious figure is ruthless and strategic, someone who doesn't just want a piece of the city's criminal empire. They want to own it completely. Their arrival forces both families to pause their war and rethink their alliances. Conrad Harrian, despite all his fury and losses, refuses to give up. He calls upon every resource and every loyal soldier he has left. The battle for dominance becomes more than just a fight for territory. It's about survival, pride, and legacy. Conrad's evolution from a calculating boss to a man driven by raw emotion adds depth to his character. The cracks in his armor start to show, making him more relatable and tragic. Meanwhile, Richie Stevenson, determined not to lose his hard-won power, makes desperate moves. His ruthless tactics increase the body count and push the city into chaos. But underneath his cold exterior lies a man haunted by his own vulnerabilities and fear of losing everything. This complexity makes Richie a compelling antagonist, not just a villain. Kevin's role becomes the linchpin for the final showdown. Torn between his father and his ambition, Kevin must make a choice that will decide the fate of both families. His inner conflict reaches a breaking point, and his decision shocks everyone, including the audience. Kevin's transformation from a conflicted son to a decisive player is one of the season. The tension reaches its peak in a massive final confrontation. Plans collide, betrayals come to light, and unexpected alliances are formed. The streets become a war zone, and every character faces moments of life or death. The script captures this chaos with gripping descriptions of narrow escapes, brutal fights, and moments of quiet before the storm. Amidst the violence, personal stories shine through. Tommy Stevenson and Eddie Harrian's friendship is tested to the extreme, forcing both to confront what loyalty really means. Their emotional journey reminds viewers that even in the darkest worlds, humanity can still flicker. The law enforcement subplot culminates here as well. The relentless cop closes in on the families, and a major arrest threatens to topple the fragile structure of the criminal world. His role serves as a symbol of justice, catching up to those who live in the shadows. In the aftermath of the showdown, the landscape of power in MobLand is forever changed. Some characters survive, but they are forever marked by the violence and loss. Others fall, paying the ultimate price for their choices. The season ends with a haunting mix of victory and tragedy, showing that in this world, every win comes with a cost. The final scenes leave viewers with lingering questions and shocking revelations. New secrets emerge, and the hint of a larger threat looms in the background, setting up a potential new chapter in the story. The closing moments are designed to keep fans eagerly waiting for Season 2, wondering what will happen next. This season of MobLand is a powerful tale of ambition, loyalty, betrayal, and survival. It explores how ordinary people can be pulled into extraordinary violence and how the consequences of their choices ripple through families and communities. The storytelling balances brutal action with deep emotional moments, making it a gripping experience from start to finish. As the dust settles on the brutal war between the Harrion and Stevenson families, the city of MobLand remains scarred but alive. The power vacuum left behind by the fallen players invites new threats. Shadowy figures watching and waiting for their moment to strike. This epilogue digs deep into what the future might hold. The mysterious new player introduced in the finale isn't just a random threat. They represent a calculated cold force with ambitions far beyond controlling MobLand's streets. Rumors swirl about their identity. Some say they're linked to an international crime syndicate. Others whisper about betrayals from within the families themselves. This tease plants the seeds for an explosive next chapter. Kevin's choice in the final episode didn't just impact his family, it rippled through the entire criminal underworld. Now, with his loyalties questioned and enemies closing in, Kevin finds himself walking a razor's edge between survival and destruction. His journey from uncertain son to a man who might command his own empire is only beginning. Meanwhile, the law enforcement officer who doggedly pursued the families isn't done yet. The arrest made in the finale may have cracked the criminal organization, but it hasn't destroyed it. The officer's investigation promises to reveal more hidden secrets and challenge the fragile peace that now exists. The emotional scars left on surviving characters set up powerful storylines filled with revenge, redemption, and unexpected alliances. Tommy and Eddie's friendship, once tested in fire, could become a force for change, or a tragic casualty in the continuing battle for control. MobLand's world is vast and dangerous, and this epilogue hints at new territories and players ready to stake their claim. Whether it's rival gangs, corrupt officials, or international conspiracies, the stakes are about to rise. For fans hungry for more, this section fuels speculation and excitement. It asks, who will rise from the ashes? Who will fall next? And how will the battle for MobLand's soul unfold? While Season 1 delivered a complete and satisfying story, this glimpse at what lies ahead promises that MobLand's saga is far from over. The city's shadows are deep, and its secrets darker than ever. MobLand opens in a world ruled by crime families whose power is built on fear, manipulation, and carefully guarded secrets. At the center are two dominant factions, the Harrion family and the Stevenson clan. Both seek to control the lucrative criminal operations in their city, but their rivalry is more than just business. It is personal. The Harrions have long been established as a dominant force, with Conrad Harrion as their ruthless patriarch. Conrad is not just a leader, but a man marked by betrayal, ambition, and a long history of violent decisions that haunt him. His relationships are complex and fractured, from his strained ties with his children to the toxic entanglements with his wife Maeve and his past lovers. These personal issues fuel the fire of the criminal war, making it. Opposing them is Richie Stevenson, a cunning and dangerous man who rises quickly in the criminal world. His ambition threatens to topple the Harrians' control, sparking a fierce and deadly conflict. Richie's operations include a mysterious project called Fentanyl, a secretive scheme that involves high-stakes deals and backdoor alliances. The Harrians are desperate to learn more about this operation, and the battle to control information becomes just as important as the battle for territory. From the very first episode, viewers are thrown into a high-stakes game of deception and survival. The murder of Archie Hammond, a close ally of Richie Stevenson, shocks the criminal world and sets the tone for what's to come. This killing appears to be a betrayal, but the truth behind it is far more tangled. Who pulled the trigger and why? The mystery slowly unfolds, revealing that betrayal runs deeper and closer to home than anyone imagined. As the season progresses, trust becomes a rare commodity. Freddie, one of Richie's henchmen, provides a shocking revelation. Someone inside the Harrian family has been working secretly with Richie from the very beginning. This mole's identity remains a mystery, raising the stakes higher. Who in the Harrian family could be betraying their own? The answer seems hidden in plain sight, wrapped in decades of pain, hatred, and revenge. Several characters stand out as suspects, each with strong motives. Bella Harrian, now married to Kevin but once forced into a toxic relationship with Conrad, harbors resentment that could fuel betrayal. Maeve Harrian, the fierce matriarch, has long been at odds with Conrad and shows no hesitation in using deadly means to get her way. Even members of the extended family, like lawyer O'Hara Delaney, whose knowledge of family secrets makes her suspicious, come under scrutiny. Throughout Season 1, MobLand expertly balances the personal and political. Every character's actions are driven by complex emotions: love, hatred, revenge, and survival, making the criminal war feel intimate and explosive. The constant shifts in alliances and power keep viewers guessing. One wrong move could mean death, and even those closest to you might be your greatest threat. As MobLand Season 1 unfolds, the line between friend and foe blurs with every episode. The Harrian family is not just fighting an external enemy. They are facing a deadly threat from within. The revelation that someone in their own ranks is feeding information to Richie Stevenson sets off waves of paranoia. Every glance, every conversation is loaded with suspicion. Trust begins to crumble, and the family's unity starts to unravel. One of the most heartbreaking elements of this season is the complexity of the Harrian family's relationships. Conrad Harrian is a man burdened by his own mistakes and ruthless decisions. His serial infidelity and harsh treatment of his children have created cracks in the family's foundation. Bella Harrian, who was once trapped in a forced relationship with Conrad, is now married to Kevin but still carries the scars of her past. Her bitterness and anger toward Conrad make her a prime candidate for betrayal. But is she the traitor or just a pawn caught in the crossfire? Maeve Harrian, the proud and fierce matriarch, plays a crucial role in this season's drama. She is driven by deep hatred toward Conrad, fueled by decades of betrayal and pain. Maeve's willingness to use extreme measures, even at the cost of her own son's safety, shows how far she is prepared to go for revenge. Her shadow looms large over the family, and her actions add layers of tension and danger. Could she be the mole working with Richie, or is she manipulating the players around her for her own ends? Meanwhile, the legal side of the Harrian world adds another layer of intrigue. O'Hara Delaney, the family lawyer, knows every secret, every lie. Her discovery of a potential rat in the family sends shockwaves through the Harrian household. As someone who understands the consequences of exposure, O'Hara's role is ambiguous. Is she protecting the family or playing her own dangerous game? Her knowledge makes her both a valuable ally and a suspect. Another fascinating character is Harry Duza, a man of sharp intelligence and calculated moves. Harry's calm and controlled exterior hides a mind that's always 2 steps ahead. His loyalty to the Harrians seems unwavering, but the danger he senses around Conrad could push him toward unexpected alliances. If Harry believes his wife and daughter are in danger because of Conrad's reckless behavior, could that push him to betray the family? His motives remain unclear, adding suspense to every interaction he has. On the other side, Richie Stevenson is a force to be reckoned with. His ambition and ruthlessness make him a terrifying adversary. Richie's control over his operation, including the mysterious fentanyl project, gives him an edge. He is not only fighting for power, but also seeking to dismantle the Harrians from the inside. His methods are brutal, and his network runs deep. The question remains, how much damage can he inflict before the Harrians find the traitor and strike back? The conflict intensifies when Freddie, Richie's trusted henchman, reveals the presence of a mole in the Harrian family. But before Freddie can say more, he is killed, leaving the mystery unsolved. This murder sends a chilling message. Silence is deadly, and betrayal is closer than anyone suspects. The stakes rise as both families scramble to protect their secrets while hunting for the traitor among them. Season 1 is a constant push and pull between power and survival. The characters' motives are tangled, their loyalties shifting like quicksand. Each choice could lead to salvation or destruction. And as the bodies pile up and alliances fracture, one thing is clear. In MobLand, no one is safe, and everyone has something to hide. As MobLand Season 1 moves deeper, the power struggle between the Harrians and the Stevensons heats up. What started as a war for territory and control turns into a battle filled with personal vendettas, deep betrayals, and shocking violence. Conrad Harrian's grip on his empire is threatened not just by Richie Stevenson's external attack, but by the growing cracks inside his own family. Conrad is a man who has built his world on fear and loyalty, but his harsh methods have alienated many close to him. His son Kevin, for example, resents his father deeply. Kevin's anger is fueled by the death of his brother and the constant violence surrounding their family. Though Kevin is seen as the heir to the Harrian Empire, his hatred toward his parents, especially Conrad, makes him unpredictable. Could Kevin be swayed to betray his own family? So far, his loyalty remains uncertain, adding tension to every scene he's in. Meanwhile, Richie Stevenson plays a masterful game. He's not just attacking the Harrians physically, but psychologically. Richie's ability to infiltrate and manipulate shows how dangerous he is. His relationship with Freddie, who reveals the mole's existence, highlights how even his closest allies are vulnerable. The moment Freddie is killed, the danger becomes real. Trust is scarce, and no one is beyond suspicion. The tension escalates with the involvement of Serafina, Conrad's daughter, who represents a softer side of the family. Her devotion to her father contrasts sharply with the violent world they live in. Serafina's near-death experience at Richie's hands shocks the family and viewers alike. It shows how close Richie is to destroying the Harrians completely. Yet, Her survival also fuels Conrad's determination to fight back harder, leading to even more brutal confrontations. Another key figure is Maeve Harrion, whose fierce loyalty to her family is matched only by her burning desire for revenge. She is willing to do anything, including working secretly with Richie, to take down Conrad. Her complex motivations reveal the darker side of family loyalty. Sometimes revenge feels more important than love. Maeve's actions introduce unpredictable twists that keep the audience guessing who will survive and who will fall. O'Hara Delaney's role grows more complex as she navigates the dangerous waters of the Harrion family secrets. Her knowledge of the mole and the family's darkest moments gives her power, but also puts her in great danger. She must decide whether to protect the family's reputation or use what she knows for her own gain. O'Hara's decisions could shift the balance of power at any moment. Throughout the season, the fentanyl operation is a constant mystery. This secret project, run by the Stevensons, is what Conrad desperately wants to control or destroy. The true purpose and power of fentanyl are only hinted at, but its influence drives much of the conflict. Both families understand that whoever controls fentanyl could change the entire game. This adds a thrilling layer of suspense as the audience waits to see who will uncover its secrets first. The killings continue to mount, each death raising the stakes higher. Every murder is not just a loss, but a message, a warning to others who might think about betrayal. The brutal assassination of Archie Hammond early in the season set the tone, and the body count keeps rising. Each loss shakes the Harrions, pushing them closer to collapse or revenge. In the midst of all this, the characters' true colors show. Loyalties shift, alliances form and break, and everyone must decide who they really are and who they want to become. The season's intense moments are built on this constant tension between survival and betrayal. Season 1 of MobLand doesn't just tell a story of crime and power. It reveals how families can be torn apart from the inside. It shows the cost of revenge, the danger of secrets, and the price of ambition. The final episodes promise even more shocking revelations as the battle for control reaches its breaking. As the first season of MobLand hurtles toward its climax, the tangled web of betrayal tightens around the Harrions and the Stevensons, with secrets that threaten to explode and loyalties tested like never before. Every character is pushed to their limits, forced to make impossible choices that will shape their fate and the future of the entire crime empire. One of the season's most gripping threads revolves around the hidden mole within the Harrion family. For much of the story, viewers are left guessing who could be feeding Richie Stevenson information. Early suspicions fall on several members, but clues steadily narrow the list. The betrayal isn't just a plot twist, it's a symbol of the fragile trust inside the family's fortress. The revelation of the mole's identity sends shockwaves through both the family and the audience, marking a turning point in the season. Conrad Harrion's control begins to unravel as this betrayal cuts deep. Already weighed down by years of infidelity, broken relationships, and his own ruthless decisions, Conrad must now face the possibility that the enemy is not only outside, but also inside. His paranoia grows, his decisions become harsher, and cracks in his empire widen. The man who once seemed untouchable starts to show signs of vulnerability, and this vulnerability makes the story more intense and human. At the same time, Richie Stevenson capitalizes on this inner chaos. His strategy isn't simply to overpower his enemies with force, but to exploit their weaknesses, breaking down the Harrions emotionally and psychologically. His cold, calculated moves reveal a mind that's always several steps ahead, making him a terrifying villain. Every small victory for Richie feels like a ticking time bomb, heightening the tension with every scene. Maeve Harrian's role becomes even more complicated as her thirst for revenge clashes with her loyalty to her family. Her willingness to work with Richie, even if it means putting her own loved ones at risk, paints a powerful picture of how hate can blind even the strongest bonds. The emotional weight of Maeve's decisions adds a raw and gripping layer to the narrative, showing how far someone can go when pushed by pain and anger. Meanwhile, Kevin Harrian's story arc brings additional emotional complexity. His conflicted feelings about his family, especially his father, make him a wild card in the power struggle. As he walks the line between hatred and duty, Kevin faces choices that could either save or destroy the Harrian legacy. His unpredictable nature keeps viewers on edge. Will he rise to power, or will his anger consume him? On the legal front, O'Hara Delaney's character adds another dimension of suspense. As the Harrian's lawyer, she holds the keys to many secrets. Her knowledge of the mole and her ability to navigate the family's dangerous politics put her in a powerful position, but also a precarious one. O'Hara's moves are subtle, but crucial. She's a chess player in a deadly game, and one wrong step could cost her everything. Throughout the season, the mysterious fentanyl operation continues to loom large. Its true nature and potential remain unclear, but everyone knows it's a prize worth killing for. The race to control or destroy fentanyl fuels much of the conflict, and its shadow casts tension over every decision. The deeper the characters dig, the more they realize how dangerous this secret is, and how much it could change the balance of power. Violence escalates with brutal precision. Every act of aggression feels personal and calculated. The murders and attacks aren't random, but carefully planned moves in a deadly chess match. These violent moments are not just shocks for shock's sake. They serve to expose characters' true motives and push the story forward with relentless intensity. Season 1's finale promises to be explosive. The final episodes are set to reveal not only the identity of the mole, but also the fate of the Harrian family. Will they survive the onslaught, or will Richie Stevenson finally crush his enemies? The answers lie ahead, but what is clear is that every character has changed. None will be the same once the dust settles. As Season 1 of MobLand races toward its dramatic conclusion, the stakes have never been higher. The carefully constructed world of crime, loyalty, and betrayal built over the episodes comes crashing down in a finale packed with shocking revelations and heart-stopping action. Every secret kept, every alliance made, and every betrayal plotted culminates here, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats. The long-anticipated reveal of the Harrian mole inside Richie Stevenson's operation shakes the foundation of the family's power. The traitor's identity, hinted at throughout the season, finally comes to light in a way that is both surprising and believable, tying together earlier clues and deepening the story's emotional impact. This revelation forces the Harrians to confront the uncomfortable truth that not everyone within their ranks can be trusted, and it triggers a chain reaction of mistrust and paranoia that threatens to tear them apart. Conrad Harrian's world begins to collapse around him. His empire, once seemingly unshakable, is now crumbling under the weight of betrayal, loss, and relentless attacks. His relationships with his family, allies, and enemies are strained to breaking point. In this finale, Conrad is forced to face the consequences of his own ruthless past decisions, realizing that his actions have brought this chaos upon himself. Yet, even in defeat, he remains a formidable force, refusing to go down without a fight. Richie Stevenson's calculated rise to power reaches its peak in the finale. His cunning strategies and cold-blooded moves have dismantled much of the Harrian influence, but the battle is far from over. The tension between these two crime empires explodes in a series of confrontations that blend brutal action with intense emotional stakes. Richie's character is portrayed as the embodiment of merciless ambition, willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to secure his dominance. The emotional core of the finale lies in the fractured relationships within the Harrion family. Maeve's complicated role comes full circle as she grapples with the price of revenge. Her choices have placed her family in jeopardy, but they also reveal the human cost of the violent world they inhabit. Kevin's journey is equally compelling as he wrestles with loyalty, hatred, and his desire for power. These personal battles give the story depth beyond crime and violence, making it resonate on a more human level. Legal and political pressures close in on the Harrions, adding layers of complexity to the finale. O'Hara Delaney's role becomes pivotal as she navigates the dangerous waters between protecting the family and pursuing justice. Her position highlights the blurred lines between right and wrong in this ruthless environment, showing that power often comes at a moral cost. The fentanyl operations mystery is finally unraveled, revealing a secret that could change everything. This revelation adds a new dimension to the conflict, explaining much of the season's tension and providing motivation for the characters' desperate actions. The significance of fentanyl ties together the political, criminal, and personal storylines, making it the beating heart of the show's power struggle. Season 1 ends on a cliffhanger that promises even more intense drama in the next chapters of MobLand. The final scenes hint at shifting alliances, new enemies, and the enduring question of who will ultimately control the city's underworld. The ending is crafted to leave viewers hungry for more, setting the stage for bigger battles and darker secrets. In summary, MobLand Season 1 delivers a masterclass in storytelling, blending suspense, action, and emotion to create a gripping tale of power, betrayal, and survival. It explores the cost of ambition and loyalty in a world where trust is rare and danger is everywhere. The characters are complex and flawed, their motivations understandable even when their actions shock us. This season sets a high bar for crime dramas, making it clear that the fight for control in MobLand is far from over. As the dust settles, the question remains: who will rise and who will fall? The answers will come in the next thrilling installment. But for now, the story of Season 1 stands as a gripping, unforgettable journey into the dark heart of power and revenge. To truly appreciate MobLand, it's important to understand the key players who shape this gripping story. Each character is crafted with layers of complexity, making them unpredictable yet relatable in their struggles for power and survival. Conrad Harrion stands at the center, a ruthless patriarch whose ambition fuels much of the conflict. His moral ambiguity makes him fascinating. He's both a loving father and a cold-blooded crime lord. His past actions haunt him, and his decisions often put his family in danger. Conrad's ability to adapt and manipulate makes him a force to reckon with, but his vulnerabilities lie in his fractured relationships and the enemies he's made along the way. Richie Stevenson is the perfect foil, cunning, ambitious, and relentless. His calm demeanor hides a dangerous mind, always planning several moves ahead. Richie's willingness to form alliances with former enemies shows his pragmatic nature. His rise threatens the entire Harrion Empire, making him the ultimate antagonist of Season 1. Maeve Harrion embodies the fierce protective spirit of a mother scorned. Her actions throughout the season reveal a deep well of pain mixed with unyielding determination for revenge. Maeve is more than just a matriarch. She's a tactical player whose loyalties sometimes blur between family and vengeance. Kevin Harrion's conflicted nature adds emotional depth to the story. his resentment toward his father and mother, combined with his own ambition, creates a volatile mix. Kevin represents the next generation of power struggles, torn between loyalty and self-interest. Supporting characters like O'Hara Delaney, the savvy lawyer, and Freddie, whose betrayal ignited major plot twists, further enrich the story's tension. Their roles remind us that in the world of MobLand, no one is truly safe. Everyone has secrets, and trust is the rarest currency. Looking ahead, Season 2 promises to escalate the power struggle even further. The cliffhangers of Season 1 set up new rivalries, unexpected alliances, and deeper conspiracies. Viewers can expect more explosive confrontations, complex character developments, and twists that challenge loyalties. The unresolved mystery of the fentanyl operation and the identity of traitors within the families will continue to drive the plot. As the fight for control intensifies, the personal stakes become higher, making every move deadly and every choice critical. In conclusion, MobLand is more than just a crime drama. It's a story about family, betrayal, and the lengths people go to protect what's theirs. The rich character arcs combined with suspenseful storytelling create a series that captivates from start to finish. MobLand is packed with more than just crime and power struggles. It explores deep themes that resonate with viewers long after the screen goes dark. At its core, the series examines the nature of loyalty, how it can bind families together or tear them apart. Loyalty is never simple here. It's tested, broken, and sometimes betrayed, reflecting the messy reality of human relationships within a dangerous world. Another powerful theme is revenge. Almost every major character is driven by a desire to avenge past wrongs, whether it's Maeve's hatred for Conrad's betrayals or Richie's calculated strikes against the Harrians. Revenge in MobLand is not just a personal act. It's a force that reshapes alliances and dictates strategy. The idea of identity and legacy is also prevalent. Characters like Kevin struggle with their roles within their families, wrestling with expectations and the shadow of their ancestors. The show asks, how much of who we are is shaped by blood, and how much can we rewrite our own stories? Symbolism enriches the storytelling. The fentanyl operation, for instance, is more than a criminal scheme. It symbolizes the fragile balance of power that everything hinges on. Objects like family heirlooms, hidden messages, and coded conversations serve as metaphors for trust, secrecy, and control. Fans of MobLand have already speculated wildly about the identity of the hidden traitor within the Harrian family. Theories range from the cunning O'Hara Delaney playing a double game to unexpected betrayals by characters who seem innocent at first glance. These fan theories add an extra layer of engagement, keeping discussions alive between episodes and fueling anticipation. There's also speculation about how the show's portrayal of crime families reflects broader social issues, from corruption to the impact of violence on communities. This gives MobLand a realism that grounds its suspenseful plot in relatable human struggles. Ultimately, MobLand challenges viewers to think about the costs of power. How far will someone go to protect their family? What sacrifices become justifiable when survival is on the line? And when betrayal is around every corner, who can truly be trusted? The story of MobLand kicks off in London's criminal underworld, where two powerful families rule the streets with an uneasy peace: the Harrigans and the Stevensons. These two families have been enemies for generations, but they keep their war cold because open conflict would bring too much heat from the cops and other gangs waiting to take their place. That fragile balance shatters one night when Eddie Harrigan, the reckless son of Conrad Harrigan, goes clubbing with his friends. He's joined by Tommy Stevenson, yes, the son of their enemies, along with Alfie King and Mink Borsey. Eddie's high, paranoid, and out of control. In a moment of madness, he stabs a man in the club. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is what happens next. Tommy disappears. Eddie comes home. Tommy doesn't. Tommy's disappearance sets the streets on fire. Richie Stevenson, head of the Stevenson clan and Tommy's father, is ready to go to war. He gives the Harrigans an ultimatum: find my son in 18 hours or I'll turn your family into street dust. No second chances, no mercy. The task of fixing this mess falls on Harry Duza, a trusted Harrigan enforcer who's known for his ability to clean up anything. Harry isn't just muscle, he's sharp, resourceful, and loyal to a fault. But even Harry knows this isn't a simple missing persons case. This is a landmine, and every step could blow everything sky high. While Harry starts digging, the Harrigans face a new crisis from within. Maeve Harrigan, Conrad's ruthless wife, suspects Archie Hammond, a close friend and business associate, of secretly working with the Stevensons to sabotage the Harrigans' plans. Those plans involve a dangerous new deal with a syndicate called fentanyl, and if Archie is indeed a traitor, the whole operation could collapse before it even begins. Conrad doesn't wait for proof. He takes Maeve's word as gospel. Without hesitation, he pulls the trigger on Archie, killing him in cold blood in his own house. Just like that, a decades-long friendship ends with a bullet. But Conrad doesn't realize he's opened the door to something much bigger, something even he can't control. Now Harry has two problems: find Tommy before the Stevensons burn the city down, and figure out why Conrad killed Archie without warning. And the clock is ticking. As episode 2 begins, we see Harry, along with his associates Paul Zosa and Kiko, trying to get rid of Archie's body. There's no time for mourning. There's only time to survive. But while Harry is busy covering up a murder, DS Ivan Fisk, a sharp and relentless detective, shows up with a warrant. He arrests Harry, suspecting him in Archie's death. Harry's locked up just when he's needed the most. Meanwhile, Richie Stevenson isn't wasting time. He intercepts Kevin Harrigan, Conrad's son and Eddie's older brother, and delivers a chilling warning. If Tommy isn't returned, he'll start taking Harrigans down one by one. Kevin tries to play it cool, but he knows the truth. Harry is in custody, and Eddie, the last person seen with Tommy, is a ticking time bomb. Kevin quickly arranges for Eddie to be sent to the countryside, to Conrad and Maeve's estate in the Cotswolds, to keep him out of Richie's reach. He knows that even if Harry gets out, there's no way he can fix everything in time. Back at the police station, Harry has a tense exchange with Fisk. The two men clearly know each other, and there's a mutual respect, but no trust. Fisk uses metaphors and riddles, trying to dig into Harry's mind, but Harry pushes back with dry humor and sharp comebacks. The scene crackles with tension, but ultimately goes nowhere. Harry gives up nothing. Thankfully, O'Hara Delaney, the family lawyer, shows up just in time and gets Harry released. As Harry leaves the station, he's already thinking ahead, trying to piece together the puzzle. Was Archie really a traitor? Was Maeve lying to manipulate Conrad? Was Conrad already unraveling from the pressure? Harry barely has time to breathe before his phone rings. It's Jan, his partner, reminding him about their couple's therapy session, a promise he made and forgot. But Harry's world doesn't have room for emotional healing. He offers a weak apology and gets back to business. On the road to the Cotswolds, Harry and O'Hara talk. They try to figure out what Fisk actually knows. Did Archie talk to the police before he died? Was he a grass, British slang for informant? And if so, how long had he been feeding information to Fisk? Every answer leads to more questions. But Harry's not just worried about Archie. He's starting to realize that this whole thing might have been set up from the beginning. Maybe Tommy's disappearance wasn't an accident. Maybe someone planned it. someone who wants to burn both families to the ground. As Harry arrives in the Cotswolds, the peaceful countryside feels like a strange contrast to the brutal city he just left. But don't be fooled. Inside Conrad Harrigan's estate, things are anything but calm. Eddie Harrigan, whose reckless actions caused this entire crisis, is here, hiding out like a scared kid instead of a gang prince. But Harry didn't come to babysit. He came for answers. What happened that night? Where did Tommy go? Is he even alive? Eddie, strung out and paranoid, dodges the questions. He claims Tommy just vanished. He went out to take a call, Eddie mumbles, and never came back. Harry doesn't buy it. He knows Eddie's hiding something. And worse, he's starting to suspect that even Conrad might know more than he's saying. Meanwhile, back in London, tensions boil over. Richie Stevenson doesn't believe Tommy just disappeared. He thinks the Harrigans are stalling and he's preparing for war. But Richie has a weakness, and her name is Willow. She's his daughter. Smart, sharp, and ambitious, Willow isn't interested in her father's violent empire. She wants to modernize the Stevenson legacy and go legit, something Richie laughs at. But Willow doesn't give up easily. She starts digging into Tommy's disappearance herself, and the deeper she looks, the more she realizes that her family's enemies aren't the only ones with secrets. Tommy wasn't just partying. He was involved in something serious, and whatever it was, it could destroy both families. At the same time, a new name begins to rise in the shadows: fentanyl. This mysterious corporate entity has been circling the criminal world for a while, making silent moves and offering big promises. Conrad Harrigan had recently entered into a massive development deal with them. But now, with Archie dead and the family in disarray, the fentanyl deal is in jeopardy. And that's when Maeve Harrigan makes her move. Maeve is no ordinary wife. She's a strategist, a manipulator, and some say the real brain behind Conrad's power. She sees an opportunity in all this chaos. With Archie out of the way, she convinces Conrad to hand over control of the fentanyl deal to her. She promises to secure the money, the contracts, and the future of the Harrigan name. But she has her own plan, and it doesn't include Conrad. While Maeve plays her dangerous game, Harry and Eddie return to London undercover. Kevin Harrigan, who's been trying to hold the family together in Harry's absence, isn't thrilled. The heat from Richie is getting worse, and Eddie being back is like throwing gasoline on a fire. Harry demands to speak with the Stevensons. He wants to negotiate, not because he trusts them, but because he knows that if war breaks out, everyone loses. Kevin reluctantly agrees and arranges a meeting with Willow, Richie's daughter, hoping that she might be more reasonable than her father. Their meeting is tense but revealing. Willow hints that Tommy might have been dealing with someone outside both families. She suspects there's a third party involved, someone who benefits from keeping the two families distracted and at war. Harry realizes she might be right. Could it be fentanyl? Could they be manipulating everything from the shadows? But while Harry chases leads, Richie takes a darker route. In a shocking scene, Richie captures Alfie King, one of the men who partied with Tommy and Eddie on the night he vanished. Alfie is beaten and tortured for information. At first, he stays silent, but eventually he breaks and confesses that Eddie stabbed someone at the club. That person died. Tommy panicked. Things got messy. No one knows what really happened after that. Richie doesn't care. He's had enough. He tells his crew, prepare for war. The first target, Kevin Harrigan. Back at the Harrigan estate, Conrad's mental state is slipping. Paranoia is eating him alive. He begins to see threats everywhere, even within his own family. He lashes out at Kevin, accuses Harry of betrayal, and retreats further into Maeve's influence. He's becoming a puppet, and Maeve is pulling the strings. Meanwhile, D.S. Ivan Fisk, The detective who arrested Harry earlier reappears with new pressure. He meets with Jan, Harry's partner, and warns her that Harry is in deep. He tells her that Archie Hammond was cooperating with the police before he died. If Harry knew that and killed him anyway, he'll go down. Fisk offers her a deal: turn on Harry or go down with him. Jan is torn. She loves Harry but knows he's hiding things. She doesn't betray him yet, but her trust is cracking. In a desperate attempt to stop the war, Harry arranges a secret meeting between Richie and Conrad. But it's a trap. When Richie shows up, he's ambushed by Conrad's men. Somehow, Richie survives, but just barely. The message is clear: there's no more diplomacy, only blood. As Richie recovers, he tells Willow to step back, but she refuses. She's convinced there's still a way to prevent total destruction. She turns to an unlikely ally, Paul Zosa, Harry's associate. Together, they start piecing together a secret web of transactions, meetings, and missing files that all point back to fentanyl. And then, just when things couldn't get worse, Harry finds something chilling. In a storage container owned by the Harrigans, he discovers Tommy's jacket. Bloodied, torn, hidden in a crate. It's not just a clue, it's a message. Someone wanted him to find it. And it means Tommy didn't just disappear. He was silenced. Harry now knows the truth. Someone inside the Harrigans betrayed them. Someone killed Tommy and started this war from within. Harry stares at the blood-soaked jacket in silence. It's not just evidence. It's a death sentence. He knows what it means. Tommy didn't run. He didn't vanish. He was murdered, and someone in his inner circle covered it up. But who would dare betray the Harrigans from within? He takes the jacket to Kevin, hoping for answers. But Kevin's reaction is strange. Not shock, not sadness, just silence. Harry watches his brother closely. Is Kevin hiding something? Or is he just exhausted from trying to hold the family together? Kevin swears he knows nothing, but the tension is undeniable. Trust is evaporating between the brothers, and Maeve is watching it all unfold, silently calculating her next move. At the same time, Willow Stevenson and Paul Zosa dig deeper into the fentanyl connection. What they find is chilling. Fentanyl isn't just a property developer, they're a front. Behind the scenes, they've been buying up influence across the city, pulling strings in both the police and government. Their goal? Use the criminal underworld to clear the way for a massive billion-dollar redevelopment plan. They want the Harrigans and Stevensons to destroy each other so they can buy.